This is the extended edition of the I-24 News Desk. Welcome back. A closer look at our top headline this hour. The president's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, expected to plead guilty to some very serious charges in New York today at court. This is the first time that Cohen has been linked to the Russia probe by FBI Special Counsel Robert Mueller. And to discuss the details, I'm joined from New York by Bernard Whitman, a Democratic strategist. Bernard, thank you very much for joining us this hour to discuss this rather dramatic development. What kind of deal do you expect Cohen to walk away with if he signs a deal? How much protection do you expect him to have? There are some very serious charges standing against him.
You know, I don't know the specifics of that. I mean, he may, it depends on how much he cooperates, but I mean, the guy is facing jail time. I think the big thing is we may have found the smoking gun that may not lead to the removal of the president from office, but it will knock him off the political perch he's sat atop for the last 3 years and probably seriously damage his chances for re-election. And the answer is unambiguously clear. Donald Trump lied to the American people when he said that he had no business dealings with Russia during the 2016 campaign. In fact, Michael Cohen has pleaded guilty to lying to Congress and admitted that the dealings with Russia lasted well into the summer of 2016 and even into 2017, most likely, while Donald Trump was president. You know, money makes people do very crazy things, and Donald Trump, despite what he would like to think, is not that special. The reason that he has been so extraordinarily solicitous of Russia and Vladimir Putin is one reason and one reason only. It's a 5-letter word that begins with M. It's money. He lied to the American people. He had a business interest in trying to get assistance from the Russian government and being elected president. He took that assistance, and I think that this will ultimately lead to a finding that the Trump campaign and the Trump family colluded with the Russians to try to install Donald Trump as president to further his financial dealings. This is disgusting, and it's a disgrace.
So on that point, Bernard, you would agree with critics who say that this development today exposes the president to the overall FBI probe into Russian meddling?
I mean, I absolutely think it does. You know, this is not a surprise to most of us that have been watching this for a couple of years. We've wondered, why on earth would Donald Trump be so solicitous of Russia? It has to be money. Follow the money. That's what prosecutors do. They followed the money. Bob Mueller followed the money and found in Michael Cohen someone that admitted, in fact, the deals and negotiations continued into 2016, if not 2017, that he talked about possible trip to Russia by President Trump, that he briefed candidate Trump at least 3 times on the deals to build a hotel in Moscow, that he briefed members of the Trump family. And what's the most tragic, I think, is not only did Donald Trump lie to the American people about his business dealings with Russia, but the Republicans in Congress that are supposed to serve as a check and balance, that are supposed to serve the interests of their constituents, that are supposed to serve the interests of Americans, failed to stand up, failed to protect the American people, failed to act as a check and balance, and capitulated and groveled to this president. And we saw what happened in the midterms as a result. The American people are sick and tired of the swamp that Donald Trump said he'd drain. In fact, he filled the swamp. The American people are sick and tired of it. They delivered a stunning blow to the Republicans and Donald Trump in the midterms. And I think we're going to see a lot of trouble for Donald Trump and the Republicans going forward in this next Congress.
Well, this week, Bernard, the president floated the idea of pardoning Paul Manafort, his former campaign manager. He's also facing some very serious charges. Do you worry the president may use the pardon power to sway the probe away from him?
Well, I mean, he's been trying to do that ever since he took office. He tried to push Comey to end the probe. He fired Comey when Comey refused to do that. He has repeatedly, time and time again, called it a witch hunt. You know, if he has nothing to hide, he should welcome an investigation to clear his name. Guilty people tend to try to stop investigations. Innocent people welcome them and say, I have nothing to hide, take a look here. I think that Donald Trump is signaling to Paul Manafort, be quiet, I'll protect you. To Michael Cohen, he may have decided that the time is too late for that because he called Michael Cohen this morning a very weak person. Michael Cohen is the keeper of all the secrets. Michael Cohen was a self-described fixer to Donald Trump. Michael Cohen knows where all the bodies are buried. And I think the president and his legal team are very, very worried, and they should be, because they lied to the American people. And I think this is going to be able to trace a direct tie from Donald Trump's business interests right to the Russians. And beyond that, we also have ties now that link Donald Trump almost directly to WikiLeaks through Jerome Corsi, through Roger Stone. And you recall, Donald Trump stood up in the summer of 16 and basically pleaded with Russian hackers and WikiLeaks to leak, to hack the DNC, to leak emails, and they did that. No wonder why. He wanted to get a business deal done. You know, Donald Trump promised to run the country as a business. Unfortunately for the country, he's running it like it's his business.
Well, our eyes and the eyes of the world are certainly following these developments today. Bernard Whitman, thank you very much for joining us for this conversation from New York.